I'm Kirsty, and I run operations at HSBC. I think, as Aman called us earlier, one of those incumbents or dinosaurs. But to give you guys a sense, when I took this role, I took a bunch of my senior management team to see Exponential Finance 3 years ago in New York. And that's inspired quite a lot of the journey that we're on. So I'm hoping for some of you, this will give you a sense of what life could look like for you in a couple of years' time. So I want to talk to you today about workforce augmentation and the future of banking operations. What does that mean? So operations at HSBC is being transformed. We're using robotics and cognitive technologies to deliver simpler, better, and faster solutions for our customers. But instead of the myth that all the jobs are going to disappear, what we're actually finding is that cognitive automation is augmenting our human workforce, really what many refer to as the start of the fourth industrial revolution. So today I want to share 3 things with you. Firstly, how this is really helping us deliver business growth. We're a very fast-growing business. How cognitive technologies are providing richer careers for our people. And finally, how they're helping us provide both a better customer but also colleague experience. So what does operations at HSBC do? We are in effect the engine room of the bank. Every account you open, every payment you make, every credit or loan application that you want to use, every payment, every screening comes through my team. We have 39 million customers in 66 markets, and we process over 4 billion payments a year. In simple terms, that's around 380 a second. Last year, we opened 9.4 million accounts and issued 23 million credit cards. I think you're probably getting the sense by now. It's a pretty massive operation. We work in a very heavily regulated industry, so fighting financial crime is also key. Whether that's money laundering, human trafficking, drug trafficking, it's our job and our responsibility to make sure that the banks are not facilitating those kinds of activities. That meant we screened 16 million names and about 7 billion transactions last year looking for financial crime. To do this, we still have a pretty big team, 36,000 colleagues in 52 countries, with major offshore centers in China, India, and other locations. When I joined the bank 3 years ago, it was clear that there was a need for change. We still had a lot of people, as some of the other speakers have referenced earlier, lots of paper coming in, actually 2,000 tons of it that we were sending out ourselves. A lot of people doing manual rekeying, really having to spend time working across multiple screens and doing quite labor-intensive processes. Really not something that they wanted to be doing. But even more importantly than that, we were being challenged by customer demand. If your processes are inefficient, your response back to your customers is slow. And we knew if we didn't do something about that, frankly, as you've heard all day, somebody else would. It was pretty expensive too. Back in 2016, the operation cost $3.5 billion to run. It now costs under $2 billion today, and we got rid of 70% of that paper. We wanted to do something more radical, though, than just work through the kind of linear progression that operations such as ours have often seen over the last few years. So we looked at a 2030 vision, what we call Think 2030, but try and deliver it by 2020. So Think 2030, Deliver 2020 is our strategy. We wanted to build an operation that was paper-free, digitally enabled, with pretty much zero manual processing, but really only relying on a human connection where either you wanted it for a particularly complex transaction or a major life event like retirement. In this age of mobile-first, instant and seamless experience, we kind of thought about what did we do today that wasn't going to exist. we could work out the paper would be gone, the checks will be gone, the cash will be gone, and you might have something attached to you somehow that looks like a credit card, but it certainly won't be the plastic we all walk around with today. And so therefore, we wanted to get, frankly, what we call free money, all our investments in those things, out of the business as fast as possible, and really make those investments in the future in areas that we knew we needed it, like faster account opening, better payments, in a cross-currency, instant, multi-market fashion. We also knew, though, we were in a pretty unique time. We could use things like customer biometrics to create unique digital identities for our customers, enabling that, and use of things like APIs and the cloud technology to really create a pretty seamless experience for our customers that, frankly, we might not have been able to do a few years before. And in an age of open banking, again, some of the other speakers have referenced earlier, in Europe, it's now mandatory. We knew that would be something else that we could leverage, and we wanted to lead on. We know that all our services need to be personal, easy, and interconnected, or someone else is going to provide them. So a little bit about our strategy. Our strategy sets out investments in technology, in innovation, and in people to deliver services that make those customers' lives easier. We had a 3-year plan based on the 10 strategic actions that you see up here, focused on areas from end-to-end digital re-engineering of our customer journeys, thinking about how we develop our people, really investing in technology, simplifying our organization, and creating centers of expertise. The data was key. One of the great advantages, we have an awful lot of data about all our customers, but were we using it as effectively and efficiently as possible? And could we leverage the speed of the cloud and reusable APIs to really make those services more personal and easier for people to use? This has been really game-changing for us. But let me tell you a little bit about how we're doing that. So I want to talk to you about 2 things. How are we deploying these technologies? And then how are we bringing our colleagues with us on this journey? Firstly, let me share a couple of examples with you. We're trying to play to the strengths of humans and machines. The machines can scan billions of records every day to identify financial crime. The AI doesn't get bored or tired, can work 24/7 in all the jurisdictions that we're in, but sadly can't apply the judgment or make really nuanced decisions. So we were the first bank to put in a machine learning solution for cross-border payments and sanctions anti-money laundering. If you're a customer of ours in the Middle East, what you were finding was that 19% of your transactions were being stopped by regulation, by all the things that we need to look at. And that was a pretty terrible customer experience. We were only stopping about 6% of payments to have a look at them worldwide. So you could see a kind of major difference. So we built an AI that could really learn from those transactions, and if you were the same customer doing something very similar in the same jurisdictions, it would kind of auto-release your payment in effect, versus it's sitting in a queue for somebody to look at it. We've had to put millions of transactions through this to teach the AI, and it's now at 58% accuracy. So that means 58% of them go straight through. But for that 58%, it's 99.5% accurate, way better than the humans, and twice as fast. That allows our colleagues to focus on the second stage, where there really is a more complex transaction or something has genuinely changed, and we probably should have a look at it and try and understand what's going on. The second example I want to share with you is what we call CogI, or the Cognitive Investigator. We use this for transaction monitoring. Each month, we have to screen 600 million transactions, or 200 million accounts. Again, looking for money laundering, some kind of financial crime. What the Cognitive Investigator, or CogI, does is it gathers all the Know Your Customer KYC type data that we have, all the transaction data for the case, and it presents the human investigator with a summary. So it's kind of like having your pre-work all done for you. It puts together all the evidence and suggests the next actions that the analyst should take. We've literally just launched this again in the Middle East first for our retail business. And so far, we're able to discount 27% of the alerts. And again, as we put many, many millions more of transactions through, our people have to look at 1.8 cases a year. I'm very sure we'll start to see that tick up. The second thing I wanted to share with you is that we have absolutely no desire to do this on our own. So for the fintechs in the room, we like partnering with you. We don't have any great desire to go it alone, and we're always willing and very open-minded to look at new ideas. One example I thought I'd share was in the Know Your Customer space. We developed, in partnership with a fintech, a digital KYC solution that used automation and robotics, AI, and different analytics tools like natural language processing. This enabled us to get our clients' KYC done 70% more quickly and more accurately than the humans had been doing it before. What we've then done is agreed a deal with EXL Digital Intelligence to enable them to put that tool out in the market, develop it, and market to sell it to our competitors. Frankly, that's a great thing for us to be doing in the spirit of financing financial crime together, but also gives them an opportunity to take those tools to other providers. And this kind of thinking is something the team and I are looking to build on with our people. Creating better customers' experience and colleagues. I'm sure if I asked some of you when you last opened a bank account in a fairly traditional institution, you'd have many stories of frustration, paperwork, and usually quite a lot of wet signatures. So we've used quite a lot of robotics to just try and simplify a lot of processes like that, simple changes, customer service requests, etc. And we've managed to get our account opening down for our retail customers in most markets now from what used to be about 3 weeks by the time the whole thing was done to less than 24 hours. We now have around 1,600 robotic devices, which last year processed 11.5 million transactions, which is about 10 times more than we saw in the year before. So you can see just how quickly, when we talk about exponential change, these kind of things are happening. We've also developed chatbots to help our people and our clients with simple queries and answers to things. What we found, actually, is that our processes can be quite complex, and these have been a great way for people to know what to do next, how to process something, and has actually turned out to be a great way to onboard new joiners more effectively too, and an easy way for people to kind of have an aide-memoire as they kind of change things. So now, the second how. Sounds great, Kirsty, but you've got all these people, and how are you going to bring them on the journey with us? They know we make a real difference to the business and to our customers, and they knew that artificial intelligence was coming. Many of them didn't really understand it, though, and frankly, quite sure at the beginning, people were pretty skeptical about what this might mean from them. Let's face it, most people I know don't really like change. So we, first of all, did some learning with them and gave them an opportunity to really try and understand what some of these technologies could do for them and debunk some of the myths. We also wanted to help them think about how they were going to shape a future-focused career. We created a little video just to give them a sense of what we thought, and bear in mind this was 3 years ago, what we thought 2030 might look like for them.
Tonight, the information superhighway and one of its main thoroughfares, an online network called Internet.
So it's really an invitation to our teams to get involved, to be part of it, not to be afraid of it, but to step into it. And so what we did after we'd had quite a lot of learning for them, we launched a Think Innovation campaign to build awareness and knowledge. And then we crowdsourced ideas from our own staff. Who better to see the frustrations we cause to our customers every day than the people who are doing the work? So far, we've had around 13,000 contributions to our Idea Hub, as we call it, our crowdsourced platform. And 200 of those have actually been implemented. So it's a great indication for them in the way that we appreciate their ideas and we take things forward. We also put quite a lot of effort thinking about, okay, what were we going to need to do for our people? It's great to tell them that the world is coming. It's great to start to show them what some of these things are like. But how are we really going to help build them up? And what capabilities do they really need? And so we thought about 10 future capabilities that we believed our staffs would be, from strategy and innovation, change skills and technology, but frankly, still quite a lot of good human skills around relationship management, understanding the regulatory and risk environments that we work in. And we built a specific set of programs through what we call the HSBC University to help them. And those are things that they can look at on a podcast, on their way to work, a video, and really in very many formats that they can just leverage very easily day to day as part of their everyday work life. We also built a dedicated Think Careers website where they could start to understand what their careers would look like and what they might need to do to get there. We put a lot of effort into really helping our people managers. We now have more data about this operation than we could probably ever wish for. But if you're the person day to day that has to work out what you should do first and how you should think most effectively about managing your workforce, that can also be quite overwhelming. So we put a lot of effort for them in how to use the data they were being provided with, how to hire for the right capabilities for the future, and really how to start to have future-focused conversations with their team if the world was going to change. And finally, we put a lot of effort on mobility. We know in a future operation it's very unlikely people will be doing just one job like they used to. So we gave a lot of people the opportunity to take short-term assignments into different teams in different geographies where they could really start to build out and broaden their skill sets too as we work forward to this new future. So the cognitive technologies are really evolving the kind of careers and pathways that we offer people. We now have jobs we already start to talk about today as kind of normal. RPA or robot configurer, chatbot enabler. You know, we've got really smart staff. In our centers of excellence, my average staff member has 2 degrees and speaks 3 languages. These people don't want to be doing manual processing. They're capable of so much more. When we've been setting up our digital operations centers in our centers of excellence, we've been really thinking about how we leverage those people and build out a new automation capability. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Arani and John. Arani joined us 5 years ago as a graduate customer service executive in our mortgages team in Hyderabad in India. But now we've digitized most of that mortgage process. Even solicitor contact is online and all automated. So Arani volunteered to go and work in the Digital Operations Center. Yes, we gave her some training, around 6 weeks of real RPA training. She had to learn agile methodologies and how to do development sprints and things she hadn't come across before, but she's a super bright individual. She's now an RPA configurer, automating the rest of our mortgage processes, and a great asset to the team. Let's talk about John. John joined us in our payments team in Guangzhou in China. He then progressed to being a data analyst and was one of the first people to be accredited with a Blue Prism RPA qualification, so he really could help us develop our robotics capability. Now, he's an automation consultant in the Digital Operations Center, helping all of my leaders work out what's going to be suitable for automation, which technologies can best be used, and frankly, how to get the projects done. We've got many early adopters like Arani and John, and our approach is to give everyone the opportunity. So far, the vast majority of our people who've been impacted by automation have been redeployed into new areas, and you have to bear in mind, we're still growing as a business. Again, mostly so far, colleagues have been motivated by the challenge, and actually we just had our most positive ever all-employee survey. The other key indicator, someone who's pretty commercial like myself looks at too, is our attrition. Our natural attrition is now below 10%, which if any of you have ever looked at a typical kind of offshore outsource model, that's not what you would expect. If anything, it makes me a little nervous it's getting a bit too low. And I think the other thing that's a great testament to the work we've done is we get great interest in our vacancies, but not just from our own people or outsiders, from the businesses that we support who want to come and be part of this change and learn how we're really helping to change the business. So where are we now? We're halfway through the second year of this plan, and we still have a lot to do. What we've kind of learned, actually, it's quite easy to get one of these solutions done relatively quickly. We can do a new solution typically in about 6 months from inception to delivery in one market. It still takes us quite a long time to get through the other 60-odd that we have to get done. Despite record volumes last year, we delivered our best ever year for service quality. We absorbed 7% of business growth, and we still had a 5% net reduction in our costs. Most importantly, by launching e-statements, managing fraud by SMS, payments tracking, speeding up screening and account opening, we're making a big difference for our customers. So to recap, so far, augmenting our workforce with cognitive technologies at HSBC is making lives better for our customers, supporting our business growth, and building richer career pathways for our people. Here are your 3 key takeaways. Cognitive automation is already making banking easier and more secure for our customers. Roles in operations will continue to evolve, but we're playing to the strengths of the humans and the machines. We're talking about an augmented workforce. And finally, our people are grasping this opportunity to move up the value chain and do more interesting and higher and more demanding jobs. But they need support on that journey. You'll need to help them with training, you'll need to help them with opportunities, and frankly, you're going to have to provide a good dose of inspiration. Thank you very much.